podcast. There's going to be a lot of spoilers in this podcast, and I'm sorry that this podcast is late. So let's get into it. Deep Dive Podcast. I'm your host, Gamer20. We are going to review The Last of Us Episode 8. So, first, we're going to talk about the introduction of David. So, my first thoughts on him was kind of like, oh, he's kind of interesting. He wasn't like a character that I like. It was mostly just a neutral character, and I'm like, okay. Basically, too, every character that that be introduced or into like a new character that shows up, basically, I'm like, okay, right away, they are a neutral character. Not like I don't hate them or I like them. It's kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, man. I'm just neutral. But there's always like that, like when a new character shows up and then they be mean, I'll be like, I don't like, I don't like them. I'm sorry. You cannot redeem. I think it's the most funny thing because always like always in school I was the my dad always said the your first day of school is very important. Like to be nice and that stuff. And then and I use that when I watch a freaking a TV series or anime. So like a character I don't like on the first episode, I'd be like, No, you can't change my mind now. I don't like you, man. Sorry." Okay. Now we're gonna talk about Ali or worry about Joe. Um, this is the one that I was waiting for because I always remember in the game was sorry, Ali was kind of what's it called hesitant to Joe even in the series too. So I'm kind of like okay, I was patient too. I was patient too in the series. I think I know that in the later episodes Ali's gonna be worried about Joe, and then it did happen in this episode. I kind of like how she take care of Joe in this series. It's kind of nice. I like okay, right? I really like this episode honestly, with this scene honestly. And now we gotta talk about Ali went hunting for food. So this is one that I kind of did like too in the scene or this episode because the deer um when Ali was hunting and then she found the deer and then that's when I kind of like oh here we go when she shot the deer and then the deer didn't died yet so like the deer just ran off and then just died but the why I really like this scene it was basically when David shows up I was like what I was like okay all right don't trust like I was like, okay, Ali, I don't know. You can trust him, but don't trust him. Don't trust David all the way though. I'm over here like, no, I don't really trust him though. But if he can give you the supply to help, what's it called? To help Joe to recover, because I forgot to tell that Joe was injured, so Joe need to rest and that stuff because he got stabbed from the last episode, and then he needs to rest. He cannot get up and that stuff. And he was sleeping. I guess I might be wrong, but yeah. So yeah, so like when when Ali meet up with David in that scene was kind of like okay, Ali be no sorry, David be like, hey, come in my group, join my group of people and that stuff. And like my first thing, my thought was kind of like they kind of running out of supplies of food because the first what's it called the the beginning of the episode was kind of like oh we're running out of food we need food and that stuff and I was like oh I was like oh no I don't Ali I know like you killed a deer and then need it but don't join that group I'm okay you like giving them the deer but don't join that group yeah and so what happened in that episode too was basically Oh, that scene basically was David actually gave them the surprise to help Joe to recover. But the thing was, when Ali left, they followed her, and then they capture Ali. And this is where I kind of like was like, what? Because like when Ali was captured, right? They put her in the what's that called? A cage kind of thing, or kind of like a prison kind of thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, we were like, um. And my first thought was, okay, I think Joe will save Ali, like when he kind of like wakes up and feels better and that stuff. But nope, not didn't happen. That's like that did not happen at all. Ali some somehow escaped because of David being like, I forgot what happened for that scene, but I remember some of the scenes, but I don't remember like how David be like kind of closer to Ali and then freaking what's that called? Ali grabbed grabbed him and like I guess bit him or something, and then basically basically he's like, ah, I'm in pain and that stuff. But this is where I kind of was interested in, because Ali used her scar to escape too. So like so that scar, it kind of looked like she got bit, right? And then the other guy with David was kind of worried. He was like, "Oh no, you're infected because Ali beat you." He said, "No, no, no, I'm so okay," and that stuff. And I was like, kind of like, wow, that's kind of cool to think of. I really did not think about that, but yeah, that actually that scene, I really liked it. Like the scene, I put Ali escaping number one, and then like number two is the hunting, and then number three it's like Joe. No, sorry, Ali worried about Joe, and this is where I kind of the ending kind of thing that I kind of did like. Um, Ali fought David, kind of thing. It's kind of like when they fight in the cabin. It was kind of cool though, because like in that scene originally in the game was Joe saved Ali, and then he was fighting Joe. Instead of that happening in the series, they replaced it to Ali fighting David. And this is where I kind of like, wow, that was really different, and I didn't mind that at all. But when Ali was beating him up, and then David died, it kind of like, what's it called? When she continues beating him up even though he's dead, I kind of like think about this. I'm like, oh my gosh, Alex kind of turning into Joe kind of in that scene. It was like, oh wow, wow, wow. And then basically too, this the tarot episode was kind of focused on Ali instead of Joe, and that was kind of really interesting too. And yeah, that's it for this podcast. And if you guys like this podcast, hit the like button. And if you're a new person, hit the subscribe button, because I will do more podcasts like this. And I'm sorry that if I'm like all over the place. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.